In this video, we're going to talk about why most guys fail to get six-pack abs. Here's the first thing to consider. So you see loads of different people on social media, all with abs, all looking great. The issue is having a six-pack is actually rare. Less than 1% of the population is going to have a six-pack. So it's a rare thing and it's a difficult thing to achieve. I always like to say that getting a six-pack is simple, but it's not easy. If you want to learn how to build muscle and how to lose body fat, just click the subscribe button, and there's also a little bell. If you click that, YouTube will notify you every time I upload a new YouTube video. At the very end of this video, I'm going to share with you a bonus tip that's going to help you get to your goal of getting a six-pack a little faster. I've noticed that some of you aren't staying to the end of these videos, and it's very important that you do if you want to get all of the information. I don't want you to leave with only getting 20 to 30% of the information. So what I've done here is listed out on this whiteboard all of the things we're going to talk about briefly, and then we're going to go deeper into all of these topics. So we're going to talk about building the correct habits. We're going to talk about removing bad foods from your house. Next up, we're going to talk about how diet is where most people fail. We're going to talk about the train, eat, sleep concept. We're going to talk about other misinformation that other people have put out there that I'm going to correct. We're also going to talk about there's no such thing as a special supplement that you can take. And ultimately, right at the end of the video, before the bonus tip, why you aren't getting results. What is the reason that people are not getting results? So the first thing we're going to talk about is building the correct habits. A lot of achieving success in anything, especially when it comes to building a physique, is consistency, and we get consistency by building habits. Habits such as some people will wake up in the morning, the first thing they do is brush their teeth. It's the same concept with this. So some of the habits that I want you to start building if you want to get a six-pack is think about where you quit. So we have to think about your training, we have to think about your nutrition, and we have to think about your sleep and getting the correct amount of recovery. I'm going to lay out what I want you to do and build these habits over time. It takes around 67 days to build a habit, and if you can do that consistently for that many days, you're going to build the habit just like brushing your teeth of doing these things, which will lead you to getting six-pack abs. Now, what I recommend, and like I said, you can change these around a little bit for your lifestyle, but only if you can stay consistent with them. So this is the way I would lay it out. The first is training. I recommend that you train in the morning time within 1 hour of waking up. The reason I recommend that for people who can't stay consistent is because if you get up, get some water, get a shower and head to the gym, there's no way that you can negotiate with yourself. There's no way that you can't achieve that goal. If you start leaving your training till the evening time, it's very easy to start to say, well, I can't be bothered today, or I'll do it another day. If you commit to going in the morning time, there's no excuse because you've already done your workout. The next thing I need to talk about is nutrition. Now, for me, this is the most difficult thing, and this is where most people fail, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But really what happens here is people later in the day start to then quit on their diet. They start eating junk food, they start eating other food. What I like to do, because I know this is a weak point for me, is I make my food ready in the morning, or you can make it a few days before. So what I'll do, I'll spend around 30 minutes in the morning making my protein shake, making my oats that I eat every day, putting things together like my pre-workout and my apple cider vinegar, and I'll even have a frozen meal that's been cooked a few days before that I can just take straight out of the freezer and have that later. So almost any food that I'm going to eat that day, I've already made it first thing in the morning. So when it comes to me having that food, there's no way that I can say, well, I'm not going to eat that, I'm going to eat something else, because it's already there for me. A big tip with that is with your meals is you might want to spend 1 hour to 2 hours on a Sunday cooking loads of meals so that you can freeze them so that you have those meals in the week. If you're the type of person that can't get 7 to 9 hours sleep per night, or struggle to, then you're the type of person that needs to set a bedtime. So whatever that bedtime is, make it non-negotiable. Let's say you go to bed at 11 p.m. and that's your time to go to bed, and so that way you know you're going to get the correct amount of sleep to achieve your goals. The idea of setting these habits is you do this for a quarter of the year, 3 or 4 months, and you're going to build that habit of just doing those things every day. You need to figure out what your weak points are and then set habits so that you can't quit or fail on those weak points. You do that by thinking of the steps to your goal. So whether it's the sleep, the training side of things, or the nutrition, and thinking about what you're not very good at and then building a habit around that. If you struggle to get to the gym, then like I said, go early and get your clothes out, get your shoes out, pack your bag ready with your shake or whatever you're taking to the gym and your water, all ready in the morning, so as soon as you get up, you have really no choice because everything is right there in front of you. One of the best things that you can do is remove bad foods from your house. So if you have a certain thing that you keep eating over and over again, then just remove that from your house and then you can't eat it because it's obviously not there. The number one reason that people don't get a six-pack is because of their diet, because of their nutrition plan. And that is the hardest part, and it's the thing that most people fail on. And that is exactly why I said make your food in advance so that you can't quit. The bottom line is, anytime you fail, just remind yourself that the reason you failed is because you didn't build the habits and you didn't make it a priority. As soon as you know that information, you can then reassess why you didn't get where you want to go and then figure out how to get there with the information that you have based on what you didn't do very well at. I'm going to talk a little about some misinformation from other people on the internet, but before I do, I'm going to talk about the train, eat, sleep concept. And all you need to have in your mind all the time to achieve almost any fitness goal is sleep, eat, and training. And so if you can have all those three things, you're going to achieve almost every time what you want to achieve. So sleep should be almost out of the equation for most people. You should be having that locked in, and that's sort of an easy thing to do. You then have to focus on getting a correct training program and sticking to that training program, and then obviously it's the nutrition side of things. But whenever you're failing, whenever you're struggling, then just think about those three things and how you might be going wrong on one of those three things. A big mistake people make, and this ties into the misinformation, is they train their abs hard but they're not eating clean, and this is where it ties into the misinformation. When I first started doing these videos, I never used to look at anybody else's information, although I do watch a few other people on YouTube for my own education as well. However, the way I've been structuring my videos now is I'll pick a topic that I want to talk about, I'll be creative and try and think of something that I think someone needs help with, and then what I'll do is write my video out, write the list of bullet points that I want to talk about that I think is important to talk about, and then what I'll do is do some additional research to find out what the misinformation is. So I'll look at some popular YouTube channels, and if they've said things in there that aren't true, then I want to correct those things, and then I can incorporate those into my video so that I'm educating people in that way as well. Now, one of those things happens to be, and if you see a person on YouTube or any coach in general, whether it's a coach in person or on the internet, and they tell you to eat clean, then they're not a good coach for the most part, and they're certainly a complacent coach and someone that I wouldn't take advice from for the most part. The reason is because that also means that they're just usually copying other people, because if you've watched any other YouTube channel, they all say the same things. Eat clean and all of these other concepts that aren't really helpful. The correct answer actually should be, if you're trying to educate somebody on nutrition, is 80 to 90% of your nutrition that you eat every day, your daily calories, should be nutrient-dense foods. And when I say nutrient-dense foods, something like a grass-fed, grass-finished beef, chicken, pasture-raised eggs, coconut oil, almond butter, nuts, avocados, pasta, sweet potatoes, rice, oats. All of those types of food are what I would consider nutrient-dense foods. Obviously green leafy vegetables I would put into that category, and then 10 to 20% of your daily calories, your nutrition, should be a treat or something that's not actually healthy, but something that you really enjoy, but only if that fits into your daily calories. So for example, you might have one chocolate bar or one or two chocolate bars every single day, or on the days that you feel like it, just so that you can stick to your nutrition plan. So that's the sort of advice that I would give you, not telling you to eat clean, because that's actually not helping anybody. There's no shortcuts, no supplements, no special cream that will help you get abs. There's only a few things that you need to get abs, and that's nutrition and eating in a calorie deficit, so eating nutrient-dense foods and eating in a calorie deficit. Also, training the abs will make the abs appear thicker, so that's going to help as well. If you've lost enough body fat to reveal your abs, sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night is very important for fat loss and controlling your hunger hormones. People think that it's all about cardio and macros and lose fat while you sleep and all of those things, and that's just total BS. It's all about the things that I've just talked about, and what I've just said is the answer. It's not always glamorous, but it is how you get results. And the problem is with this industry is 99% of people on this platform alone are not telling you the truth, because they've got another agenda, which is trying to sell you a product or a supplement or a special cream or some bullshit that doesn't work. Thank you for staying this far into the video, but just give me 2 more minutes of your time to discuss a few more ideas. So the next thing I want to quickly just touch on is how men have more fat cells in their belly region and women tend to have more fat cells in their glutes, in their legs, in their hips. Some men do carry more fat cells in their chest and around their love handles, and this was the case. I'm helping my sister's fiance, one of my best friends. I'm helping him lose some weight. We've lost around, I think, about 50 pounds now. I've got him down to, he's starting to build some nice muscle as well, but he still has some love handles actually that we're trying to get rid of, and so that for him is that last place to go. And that might be the same for you when you're trying to lose that extra little bit. You might be struggling with the belly, you might be struggling with the love handles, whatever that little stubborn spot is, then you just have to keep dieting until it starts to go down. The benefit is if your body takes body fat from everywhere else, then when the body starts taking it from that area that you have some excess fat in, it will start to come off really quickly. Cutting out bread, sugar and almost all alcohol is going to be one of the deciding factors. You can still eat those foods or drink those calories if you can fit those into your calories, but for the most part try to avoid those foods as much as possible. So now, as promised, I'm going to tell you the bonus tip, and then right after I'm going to share with you the reason you don't get results. So the bonus tip is to incorporate intermittent fasting into this plan for you to get abs. So all you do with intermittent fasting is just push your first meal back around 3 to 5 hours into the day and then eat your first meal at that point. That's going to allow you to burn more fat in that initial period. I have loads of other videos on intermittent fasting that you can check out, but that is what I would recommend you do, or at least just push your first meal back 1 to 2 hours into the day so that you can burn a little extra body fat. The reason why most people don't get results is because, let's say there's 100 people that have seen this video and watched to the end of it. How many of the 100 people and how many of you are actually going to use the information that I've given in this video? And my guess is probably around 50%, but the other 50%, that is the reason why you don't get results. And that's because just because you've watched a video, just because you know the information, it really doesn't matter. It's all about taking action. I say that actually all of this fitness stuff is about 90% doing and 10% learning. Most of your time should be spent sleeping, working on your nutrition, training in the gym, and 10% of the time should be watching videos like this trying to learn more. What it shouldn't be is 90% learning and 10% doing, and it makes you feel better when you're learning, but you're not actually going to get results by just spending loads of time learning.